Okay, so this is the keyboard that we're looking at right now. This is the Attack Shark X68MAX Hall Effect Rapid Trigger Aluminum Keyboard Magnetic Switch. So on the box it says it's a magnetic switch, mechanical magnetic switch keyboard. I think they have something like that on the box, but this is actually a Hall Effect keyboard. And if you might probably know this, that Hall Effect keyboards are becoming very popular. So I used to use a Razer keyboard. Before that, I used a bloody memory keyboard. I don't remember what the model was, but I used the Black Widow. I believe I used the Black Widow version 2 or 3, I'm not sure, but it had the green switches. So it was a clicky mechanical keyboard. After that, I switched recently to a bloody 1898 for a while, which had optical switches. However, I had issues with my shoulder, as both the first of all the Razer keyboard was full sized, and it was difficult for me to reach the mouse on my computer and on my computer desk. I mean, and it was difficult. So I then switched to the bloody 1898. Which is, I believe it's a 96 keys or 98 keys keyboard. I'm not sure whether the 98 probably stands for 98%, but it basically had the numpad, and the navigation keys, it did not basically have the complete navigation keys. I believe it did not have the end and the home key. So that's what it did not have, but it did have the numpad. And with that keyboard, although it was working fine, and the reason why I bought it was for Tekken 8, so I could play Tekken 8 better, but that keyboard still had some problems, and one of the main problems was that I still couldn't really get the mouse very close to my body. I still had to kind of stretch out a bit, just a bit, even though I keep the keyboard tilted. So that's the reason why I had to switch to even a smaller keyboard, and this is why I bought the Attack Shark keyboard, which I bought from a local shop. The local shop is actually my friend's shop. The shop is G-Tech, that's the name of the shop, and I bought the Attack Shark X68MAX, which is a Hall Effect keyboard. So I'm a programmer, and I also play games. I'm not playing games these days. I'm not playing as much as I should. So I am a gamer, as well as a professional musician, as well as a game developer, and I'm a freelance game developer. So, and of course, by the end of the video, I'm going to talk about game development a bit as well. And right now, I'm on Windows 11. I'm not on Linux. Usually I use products on Linux. I usually review products on Linux, but this particular keyboard has 2 drivers. As far as I know, one is a web driver, which you can use while you're like on a web browser. The other one is basically a Windows driver. It's an executable file. I could have used the web driver. However, I had to write some commands on the command line. I wasn't very comfortable with that. I used Google Gemini to get an idea of the commands that I need to write for the web driver to work, and I wasn't comfortable downloading Chromium or Google Chrome or Brave to access the web driver because it doesn't work on Firefox, and I use Firefox, and Firefox does not have support for the particular technology that they're using for the web driver. So I did not use the web driver on Linux. Otherwise, this review would have taken place on Linux. But I also want to show the driver to you. And this driver is basically going to help us set the Hall Effect feature or the rapid trigger features, or whatever you want to call them. Basically, it will let us set the keyboard so we can play games very well, especially competitive games like Tekken 8 and other games like that. Okay, so this keyboard, this is how it looks like on basically the website, and there are a few things that I would like to tell you. First of all, I'm going to use this primarily for programming, not as much for gaming, but I'm thinking about downloading a game and like downloading Tekken 8 and I will try to play and see if it actually helps me like get better inputs, which is obviously a problem on most mechanical keyboards, as they do not have a low actuation point. Actually, I believe, yeah, it's called low actuation point. So this is how the keyboard looks like. I just disconnected it from my system, And I'm trying to make sure that the wire doesn't fall off. So it's all, oh, I think did my webcam just disconnect? Yeah, it did. Oops. I'll continue this after I get the webcam working back again. It's quite depressing that this happened anyway. So I'm going to get my webcam to work, and after that I'm just going to, give me a second. See if it works. Okay, so it's not working. Let me just get my webcam working again and I can continue this review. So okay, so I had to like start I had to restart OBS and basically start my webcam again. So this is basically how the keyboard looks like, and this is exactly, I mean, this is how it looks like without the lights. It has lights, but I'm really here to review how this keyboard feels and whether this is right for you or not. So this is how the keyboard looks like. One thing that you will notice immediately with the keyboards and some of the budget keyboards is that the keys don't have any wobble. They're very solid and they sound like this. So this is how they sound like, and the keyboard is like very solid. It is actually more solid than the, and I forgot to mention this in the start of the video. I had a Logitech, I believe it was a Logitech 512. I don't remember exactly. It had a G512, I'm not sure, but it was with the blue switches. So this keyboard does not cost as much as the Logitech one, and this is very like well made. If you drop it on your foot, you're going to hurt your foot. Right, this is very well made. It is a very well made keyboard. One thing that you will notice is that if you're a beginner, do not buy this keyboard as the letters are basically on this side. They're over here. Now, when the lights turn on, inside of this keyboard, you will be able to see the letters very clearly. The letters are actually on this side right here. They're on the side of the keys. You'll be able to see them very well, but without the lights, the letters are not on top of the keyboard. So now I'm just going to put this back on. My webcam did not disconnect. I have no idea why it disconnected before. Okay, so this is and with the lights, I'll try to show it to you, but I've got like these lights right here. So this is, I believe it's the spring effect. I'm not sure which effect I have on right now, but it has quite a few effects, light effects, and you can also set your custom colors. Anyway, getting back to basically the main reason why I'm making this review. So first of all, when you type on this keyboard, even though these keys, I believe these are just Hall effect keys and they're magnetic keys, and it isn't really said what kind of keys there are. In fact, it doesn't say over here as well. Like it says keyboard magnetic switch, right? But it doesn't really tell you, even over here, what kind of keys these are, right? Hang on a second, so just type magnetic switch linear. Okay, so they're linear, but it doesn't say over here what kind of these are, but these are linear switches. However, I had a linear keyboard, all right, which was the 8098, which was by Bloody, and the 8098 linears felt very different. These linears, it actually almost feels like a tactile switch. Like I can really feel the keys, that whether they're actuating or not. Although there's no actuation point, I can still feel them for some reason. The keys feel very, very solid and very well made. Like I feel like if I punch this keyboard, nothing's going to happen to it. It's kind of like that. So it helps me, as far as I can tell, when I was typing on this keyboard, it helped me type better than the Bloody 8098. The Bloody 98, I was getting misclicks when I had the keyboard to an absolutely sensitive setting, but I could feel like the keys were simply not holding my fingers. They were like not sticking to my fingers. This keyboard doesn't have this problem. I can feel that when I type on this, the fingers kind of stick on the keys, and I can actually feel and go from one key to the other without much problem. Another thing is, this is basically meant for people that, first of all, want a very sensitive keyboard, even for games, and also generally for typing, and linear keys, which means that they will not be very, very hard on the fingers. It's where they're very easy to basically press. This keyboard is for people that want an edge in competitive gaming. So I'll speak about the rapid trigger feature after a while, which this keyboard has. And this keyboard is meant for people that do not want to really damage their fingers during long typing sessions. And it's also meant for those that have shoulder problems and they want a compact keyboard so they can get their mouse really close. So this is basically, this is just 1 day of use, not even 1 day of use. In fact, I haven't even been using this for a day. Okay, so I'm going to go to the driver that it has, which is very confusing actually. First of all, this driver starts in Japanese. So if it does, just go over here and switch it to English. Okay, so this is the customization options, and you can basically customize all keys that you see on this. You can customize any key. You can basically turn any key into any other letter or whatever you want. But most programmers and most gamers will probably be interested in the function key. So since this is a compact keyboard, it's not a full-sized keyboard, as you can see with the layout right here. Some of the features like print screen are hidden behind the FN layer. So FN page up is going to trigger the system requirement or the print function in this keyboard. So this is basically just, if you explore this driver, you'll understand most of what this is quite easily, except for rapid trigger and some of the other features. Like let's take a look at advanced key settings. So this is actually a little bit. I mean, I don't even know myself what these mean, but there are certain features that might be used in it. There are certain features that gamers want. Probably this is one of them. So then you also have you also have macro editing. You have this. Of course, I'm not going to use this. So there was another thing which I wanted to show, which was this is the magnetic switch setting. I'm going to come to this after a while. Light settings, local configuration, macro editing, FN layers. Macro settings functions. Let me see over here. Macro settings functions. Switch settings, advanced key settings. Yeah, snap key. Okay, so snap key and all of these, right? Actually did not. The settings were right here, but I didn't click them. So these advanced key settings are probably something that you would want to explore. So basically what this does is this triggers different functions at different levels. I haven't tested this yet. I haven't tested this yet. Then there's press and click. So if you press and click something, it'll trigger a different function. You might want to use this for some reason. I'm not sure why. Then there's toggle switch, and then there's snap key. Now snap key is probably something that might help me in a competitive game like Tekken 8, where if I basically have two keys pressed simultaneously, it will read the last key. So basically it is basically like the feature allows you to bind two keys. When both are pressed simultaneously, the last key press will take effect. So it's kind of like if I have like for punches in Tekken 8, if I have one key down and the other key I press simultaneously, the second key is going to basically register. This is good for, so don't have misinputs basically. So this is basically for that, but I will probably not use this feature. I think that the magnetic switch settings, this is probably the main reason why you'd want to buy this keyboard. So this is basically the driver that I was talking about, which works this is basically an executable file which works on Windows 11. It doesn't work on Linux, and the web driver for Linux, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to basically run the commands that Google Gemini told me to run. I'm not going to do that. So first of all, you'll have to select all these keys. So select all, and then you can basically use these functions right here. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I've got my camera over here. So let me just put this to one side. And now you can see this right here. So this is probably one of the main reasons why you would want to buy this keyboard. In fact, I should actually set mine to something smaller. Let me just go over here, put it back where it was. And yeah. And I'm just going to go over here, save method autosave. I'm just going to disable that. And I'm going to move this to a smaller setting, something like a 0.1 is fine. And over here, 0.1 is also fine. Okay, so what does this do? Let me tell you what this does. So the actuation point that I have right now is at 0.5 millimeter, right? And it's 0.5 millimeter is a very short distance. So when I press this key down, it'll actuate at 0.5, which is just, I mean, if I touch the keyboard, it's basically going to register a key press. What this does is simple. When it says travel to trigger when key is pressed again. So I can basically wobble this key up and down. So once I have this actuated, if I travel 0.05 millimeters up, it's going to register that as reset. And if I make it go down again, then it's going to be basically another set. And it's going to be another actuation. So I don't even need to lift my finger. I can just go up and down between 0.1 millimeter, and it's just going to continuously, reset. Basically, this is basically what this is. For me personally, the lower this setting, the better. So I'm just, 0.0. I mean, that's a little bit too little. So 0.05 is probably fine. It can go very low, but I don't think going very low is a good idea. In fact, 0.1 millimeter is probably the thing that you would want. So yeah, this is going to be very useful for games where you need to immediately, take your finger off, and it's going to basically help you get the response that you require in competitive games. So this is basically the main reason why you'd want to buy this keyboard. So you have that, so you can just wobble keys and you'll have key presses. And of course, if you press the key down and you reset, it immediately resets. So that is the reason why you want to buy this keyboard in competitive games. Also in typing, this is good too. So you can just type very fast, and you'll really be limited by your skill. The keyboard will basically you can reach an incredible speed with this keyboard if you have the skill, because you'll just be typing and it's going to respond. There's not going to be any stickiness. What you will be fighting is basically the double clicks that this keyboard might have if you're not a very skilled typist. So this keyboard is recommended again for people that want a very low actuation point, want to bring their shoulder quite close to their bodies when they're using the mouse. And of course, I don't remember what I said. It's also meant for people that basically want a linear keyboard that doesn't linear keys, that the people that want linear keys, so the fingers, they don't hurt after very long typing sessions. But you will have to get used to it. There's no numpad. I'm a programmer, so I've got my end and home keys set to O and P, which will help me move between code lines. And it doesn't also have F1, F2, F3, F4. It doesn't have that. You have to use FN keys for that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this. If you wish to support me, there are links in the description. I sell a game development course for freelancers. So if you want to become a freelance game developer, if you want to become a freelancer and you want to start developing games, you can basically consider buying my course. That's one way to support me. I also have affiliate links. So if you like any product that is in the description, please consider buying that through those affiliate links. It'll support me. Thank you very much. Oh, one thing that I did forget is we didn't do the typing test, so let's do that. So I use a typing cat. I can keep an average of above 70 words per minute. I've hit 95 as my highest, I believe. So I don't think I'll be able to hit it. I don't hit it every single day. So I'm just going to type quite quickly. I have to actually adjust the keys, so a keyboard, so it's in the center. I'm going to start typing, so you'll get an idea of how fast I can type on this. I have been eating that the Martians all together at any rate as the sun stood listening. Most of the ceiling came down to the literature of their houses. She listened for an immense litter of papers upon the linoleum. Don't know what that is. How fairy-like does everything appear to be interesting. Tom whooped until he had laid down upon Putney and the trampled grass during that time it seemed. Those are the devil's pet baits. The contrast between. Okay, so I was like 87 words per minute. I ranked 8 on the 24. I can go up to 95. It's going to be a little bit difficult. In fact, I think if I type again, it's going to be slightly worse. So let's see. The churches backed uncushioned pews would sit about 3 miles long and visible. Fast he took Huck to a very stay at home man, and that I was quickly unlocked, and we walked slowly upon its back. It struck the town. All told him all that there can be no possible reason. Damn it! It must have crouched there, silent and laid upon the confusion took form, and through them be transmitted to the verge of screaming. Yeah, okay, so 83, it's still very close to the last one, so it's consistent. So this is just a typing test. If you want to really use this is the typing cat I sometimes use in my free time, trying to hit 100 basically. That's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, so this is the typing test. This is a fast keyboard, and I'm ranked like 9th in the last 24 hours. So yeah, this is a fast keyboard. Anyway, now consider, if you want to support me again, I stated that in the previous clip, I of course started OBS again. Take care.